Hey, welcome guys, and today for our workout, we are going to do the dumbbell triple play. So the rationale is that most of us don't have a garage full of equipment. In many cases, you might have one pair of dumbbells, two pair of dumbbells that you've had for who knows how long. Not the right weight always, so how can we format a workout in a way that will challenge us and allow us to get stronger and more fit while also making do with what we have during this time. So this whole workout is designed for one pair of light or medium dumbbells. If you have more after you've done it for a while, hey, go for it, change it out, keep challenging yourself. So the layout, we're going to work through 7 sequences of 3 exercises each. The way we order the exercise will allow us to go through all 3 non-stop by changing what's happening with the body movement, the momentum, the levers, whatever it might be, so that you will be able to go 1, 2, 3 before you take a break. So each one of our 7 groups is going to focus on a body part or a movement pattern. Most of the moves you'll be familiar with, and I guarantee this will add up. So we're going to work today. I'm going to handle about 8 to 10 repetitions of each exercise, but you can also do this for time. If you've got a watch, stopwatch, something on the wall, you can start with 30 seconds each. Then if you build up to a minute of each exercise, some of these sequences, you're going to get that great cardio burst as well. So find your dumbbells, find a little space, and let's get moving. With our first group, we're going to work with a squat pattern, and so going from the most challenging movement to the most accommodating, we're going to take both dumbbells, hold them in a front racked or high position up by the shoulders, elbows tucked in, sitting back, thinking through the hips, knees, and ankles, all bending or moving simultaneously, and the chest stays up. So with this position and the next squat pattern we're going to use, when the bells are up high, if you haven't done this before, you're going to feel a little bit more core work because my upper body is working to not lean forward, but to maintain that upright position. When you finish 10, we're going to lose one of the dumbbells, take it to a goblet hold, so up high against the chest. And now at this point, maybe you can get your elbows around the level of your knees, but not at the expense of the upper body. If you're near a mirror, you should be able to see your smiling face or your chest the whole time. Once you finish 10 here, immediately flip the hands and continue on. From this position, with the weight held lower, I've taken out some of the core, so I should be able to finish those last 10, 15 reps, last 30 seconds, whatever it may be. And now you'll hear it in my voice. Anytime you do high reps with your lower body, no matter that this is a light weight for me, my heart rate is going to be flying because my legs are asking for a lot of blood, a lot of oxygen to fuel this movement. So once I finish, that sequence is done. So the big squat sequence is done. We're going to move to the next pattern. And so this is going to be a pulling motion for the upper body. So we're going to work into the upper and middle portion of the back with some rowing motions. So we're going to start stable and strict. I take the dumbbells, pull the shoulders back, and then from the side, reach back with my tailbone, palms face, and I work a traditional dumbbell row with both hands. So with the dumbbell, there's a little wiggle room if you need to turn the palms. That's totally cool. Most important thing, I begin with my shoulder blades. As they move together, the arms follow, and right now, wherever I start, meaning my upper body, that's where I stay. I'm not moving. So that's your first set. Then immediately, I'm going to drop one, take a staggered stance, low in the hips, the leg that's back, that's probably the one you want with the dumbbell, and then I'm going to take it to a strict single arm row. Now I'm going to focus whichever arm is working, if I can visualize the shoulder blade on that side, wrapping or rotating into the spine, That's going to make sure I'm still using that upper back. I finish my desired number of repetitions. We turn the corner. Same thing. Long through the upper back. Never rounding, but I'm not moving. So if you see me from the front, my goal would be for you to not be able to tell which side I was working. My upper body stays completely still. And so right about now, once I've hit that fatigue, I switch arms, and now to allow me to keep going, I am going to add, boom, a little bit of momentum and rotation. Because it's a light weight, I'm not real worried about adding that little bit of extra body English to it. Matter of fact, it's something that I'm happy to train because we know that we do have to rotate and move in different directions in everything that we do in life. So that if I go from the side, you can see there's a little play in the hip, there's a little play in the upper body, but I still allow my shoulder blade to be the driver, but I do help. You can see I'm in my garage, right? Where's the lawnmower? How often do we actually do this? I'll do about 2 more. And then realize, out of all the upper body movements you can do, those rowing patterns might be the most important for many of us because they take us from here to here. And so many of us have gone from 10 hours at the desk to 10 hours of Netflix. So we still need to work that posture. So now we've gone from a big pulling motion. Now we're going to take a big pushing motion. So pressing exercises, primarily chest press. I've got a bench right here that I'm going to use, but you can do these on the floor as well. So we're going to start with a bridging exercise combined with a chest press. Then we'll alternate arms. Then we'll finish with a push-up variation. So you'll meet me on the floor or on the bench. Carefully back. Now watch my hand position first. Shoulder, elbow, wrist stacked up. Elbows in front of the shoulder a little bit. Not out here behind me. That's not friendly. So I'm a little tighter to the body, about a right angle. And I'm going to bridge my hips up. If you're on the floor, this is probably actually more comfortable. And so what I'm going to do, pressing the dumbbells up and in over the center of the chest. But what's going on with the bridge? This bridging position is also asking my glutes and my hamstrings, the back of the legs, to do just a little bit more. So I try to keep them high while not moving. Once I finish about 10 reps, I'm going to let my legs off the hook, set the feet, and now I'm alternating chest press. So this is not a punching motion or a non-stop piston. It's actually going to be very controlled. And yeah, that one arm that we think is resting because it's up top, it's not actually resting here, guys. It is keeping a strong isometric contraction on the tricep, the back of that arm. So if we're doing this in real time, I would aim for about 20 total reps, or 10 on each side. But if it starts to get shaky or you lose the form, put it up. Always want to train to finish with solid technique. Once I've finished, I'm going to go to a push-up pattern. So it can be kneeling on the floor or it can be a bench with what I'm going to use right now. And what I'm going to introduce you to is the negative only push-up, or just the lowering portion, which for most of you, if you're not so great at push-ups on your toes, this can get you there. So I'm going to do it on a bench. You can do it on the floor. I'm on the toes, head, hips, heels in one line, and all I'm going to do is lower as slowly as I can, thinking about like this: 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Push yourself back up any way you can, and then we do it again. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then I'd ask you to do it one more time. You may not make that 8 seconds if those are new, but keeping that line is going to be an amazing little quick hit to the core, but it will fast track you into being able to do real push-ups on those toes. So if you haven't done those before, give them a shot. So now let's go back downstairs to the lower body. We're now going to go single leg or lunge pattern. So I'll give you a lot of side views here to start with. So first, we're going to start with a basic lunge. Get those feet nice and wide, spread out. Remember, railroad tracks, not balance beam, meaning I'm not here. I want a good base. Throw the shoulders back, chest lifted, and then we drop straight down. Depending on your mobility, for most of us, if we get to about a 90-90 or a right angle at each joint, at the knee, on each side, we're going to be in a good spot. So again, my upper body, I'm not here. I throw the shoulders back and I control and I drop vertically. Get the 8 to 10, reset, switch, pull them back, same thing. So now if you watch from the side, I'm trying to load that front leg, back leg a little bit of work, but it's more of a kickstand. And the awesome thing about a lunge is we know we actually have research, muscle research. This shows you're going to get more work in the glutes and the inner thighs than you would in doing a year's worth of thigh master or inner outer thigh machine at the gym. Now, when I finish that, I'm going back to the original leg, but now we're going to work a hip hinge. You may at any time drop the weights off if you need. Shoulders back, anchor, chest lifted. And now I just tip forward, reset, you can see, get a little shaky, find your balance. So what's happening here, my hamstring muscle, the back of the leg has two primary functions. One being to bend the knee or flex the knee like you would in a leg curl at the gym. That's one that not a lot of people have sitting around the house. But your hamstring also extends the hip or pushes your bottom back. So I'm getting the glutes and hamstrings to play here as well. When you switch, you finish, and like me right now, you'll find out you have a good side, bad side. Shoulders come back, anchor, tip forward, aiming that heel to the sky. You're never in a hurry, and you also have permission to do this. Anytime you need, tap that toe, come back, tap that toe. Now the awesome thing on this move is everything from the muscles around my ankle and calf, hip and hamstring, the back of that entire leg is having to work. So now the last group of that 3, once we finished, we're just going to hit the reps of a reverse lunge, alternating. So it feels good. I'm not planted on one leg now. Get a little bit of movement going on, but just in time, what happens? I switch legs. If you need to, look, you put them down and you keep going. Again, the fantastic thing about lunges, besides the specific work on the muscle, is we know in the real world, squats are great, but most of life happens with one foot in front of the other. Walking, climbing, running, even the way most of us stand, we're never in a perfect spot. So single leg training is fantastic. And it's also going to do this. It's going to take that heart rate back up. So moving on, we're now going to take an overhead pressing pattern. And this can be tricky because many of us, myself included, have a few miles on those shoulder joints. So if you have lighter weights or you need to pick one of these exercises, whatever works for you, I want you to do it. But many of us get scared of making that movement. And if we lose the ability to go overhead, reaching, cleaning your garage, putting your luggage away when we get to fly again, or even getting dressed, getting shirts on and off on your own can become difficult. So if there's any way, even without weight, if you have problems, work these movements through range of motion just with your arms. So picking them up carefully, we're going to start with a strict shoulder press. Hands can be here or they can tuck in. I prefer the tucked in. Gives me a little bit more wiggle room, keeping the lever shorter. First set, strict. When we say strict, meaning the legs are not driving, they're only supporting. Now right away, when I go overhead, I notice my core is working right. It has to hold that chain together. With the shoulders, you might just do about 8 reps. Now we're going to add a little momentum or movement to the mix. So check it out. We're going to continue to go overhead, but you're going to add a twist. Now the twist is not just a little tap of the foot, but an athletic rotation with a little bit of leg drive coming through. Boom. What do you think about the core also? Yep, it's working. So I finish there, and then last, momentum really comes into play. I'll go back to the shoulder press position, dip, press, reset. So it's not a squat then a press. The idea of a push press is to allow momentum to help me drive that weight to the ceiling. How about one more? Ha! All right. Moving into smaller muscles. Now you hear that noise? If you've got the home workout equipment, and some of these like to come loose after a while, tighten them back up, safety first, and then we move on. So now the smaller muscles, we're going to work into the bicep, the front of the arm, again, starting strict, then adding a little bit of help from the movement. So, hands can be here, hands can start here, elbows right under your shoulder, and all you're going to do is the basic curl. So again, the bicep, as most of you know, is the front of the arm. Physiology text, it bends or flexes your elbow, so you did already work this muscle with all of the rows. Points to look for. Elbow is under my shoulder. It doesn't swing, it stays right here. Now once I finish 8 to 10 strict, I'm going to keep the palms facing each other and alternate arms. So in this position, elbow does the same thing, but that palm turned in invites a little bit more of the forearm or the brachioradialis muscle across the elbow into the mix. And for some of you with shoulder difficulties, this might be a way to go throughout. So once I finish my repetitions adding up to about 8 reps on each arm here, I'm going to add a squat to the mix. So now, leg drive, dip, pull, legs, arms, legs, arms. In this motion, you can stay with that hammer grip, or you can supinate or rotate the hands in. Got it. So now my heart rate's coming back up, but I am allowing the legs to help me out just a little bit so I can finish those last 10 reps. And I don't care what the weight is. That's going to be about 30 reps right there. You're going to feel it. So, little inside fitness joke while we recover. Boys, remember, your neck muscle does not tie to your bicep. Next time you go to the gym, right? It doesn't have to happen. Look straight forward, keep your posture. All right, let's finish up with the back of the arm. So we're going to go to the bench or the floor for the tricep. We're going to work an extension, a pullover, and a tricep push-up. So the tricep extension begins with the wrist, elbow, shoulder stacked up on top of each other. Only thing that's going to happen is I bend at the elbow. If you come down to about a right angle, that's going to fit most of us. And then only moving at the elbow, I straighten the arm, because that is the anatomical function of your tricep, to extend or straighten your arm out. So to maximize what's happening, make sure and do what? Yeah, straighten that arm out. So keep the elbow high, don't let it bend or drift, and your wrists can stay nice and solid. Once I finish that, to give myself a little more advantageous leverage, I'm going to take one dumbbell and turn it into a pullover. So you can hold here, or you can hold on each side of the dumbbell. Arms go long overhead, and then right over the chest. So notice the movement The lever length is increased, but I've added more muscles into the mix, so this is going to allow me to keep going. The reason more muscles are working is because now it's moving from my shoulder joint. So my back muscles and my chest muscles, as well as those around my shoulder, are helping my tricep, which is still contracting isometrically here the whole time. The pullover, some of you are going to go, wow, this feels good, kind of like a stretch. Back in the 70s, weightlifters called this the upper body squat because there were so many muscles in the mix when you do a pullover. So if you haven't done it, it might be great to add to your general workout as well. Now, when I finish, last set, tricep push-ups. So the difference between the tricep push-up and the standard push-up is going to be my hand position. Instead of here, elbows are going to tuck in. So if you think about a right angle into the body, allowing the arms to straighten out nice and long, so we maximize what's happening with the tricep. If you're on the floor, knees are probably going to be good at this point. Elbows in. Again, head, hip, and heel in line. Common error is to let your neck finish first, as if you're trying to get to the floor only with your face. I want everything in a good line. And again, remember what your tricep does. Straighten that arm out. And if you keep the body nice and still, your core is going to work the whole time as well. I'm going to do one more, then ring the bell. Bang. All right. 7 groups, 3 exercises. That is the triple play. On Friday, when we go live, we'll add in an optional core sequence that follows the same idea as well. So you can take this workout, use it, adapt it, fit your own exercises in, give it a shot, particularly if you have limited equipment. For those of you that are going live, we'll be on Body Business Facebook page at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. We'll check in about 8:45 so you can tell me what equipment you are using, any limitations you may have, and then I will rock and roll through this workout at full speed with you guys as well. If you have questions, drop me a line, shoot it down there in the comments. I will get back to you, and we will keep getting stronger from our garage, from our living room, from the backyard, wherever you are. We got it.